I did give a splits. Mm-hmm. They were to meet together, and then I did applique, and I did the design basically. Taking one applique and making it for 2 dresses.
Yes.
And I accentuated our bodies the way they are.
Right.
But the idea is that we don't compete. We complement.
Exactly.
And that is solely why I did it.
Oh my God.
Because I don't do that.
Yeah,
I don't live like that. Like, and I want you to look great.
Well, hello there, Flawless family. It is officially Women's History Month, and welcome back to episode 17 of Flawless Living Made Simple, Winning Mindsets. Oh yes. Now, today, you guys, I am super excited to introduce my soul sister in fashion, my good friend, better known as @Styleandgrief, and we're going to get into her history. This is Queen Tamika.
Hello.
Yes.
Glad to be here.
Yes. We are so happy to have you on the show. And as this is Winning Mindsets, last month on our episodes, we talked to a lot of gentlemen, right? Mm-hmm. So to kick off Women's History Month, I wanted to make sure that I started off with someone that not only I know very well, but someone that has also been such a personal support to me. You don't realize how great of a friend you have become to me. And so in this public platform, I've got to say, you're one of the best gifts my ex-husband ever gave me. Because had I not known him, I would have never come across you. Okay. And from the very moment of our first conversation, you always sold into me. And you don't even realize it. Right? I can remember seeing you out in the evening, mm-hmm. and we would just talk a little fashion, and then I found out that you were, in fact, a designer, okay. And I started coming to you, and girl, this is my custom designer, okay? If you see any of my custom looks over the years, they have been made by you and your hand, your eye, so welcome. Girl, mom, sweet friend. Yes. So tell the people a little bit about yourself and your business.
So I am Styleandgrief, formerly known as Labels in Love or Lux Labels in Love.
Yes.
Custom designer, vintage reinventor. Reseller.
Yes.
So I'm a vintage reseller. That's home decor and clothing.
Yes.
Creative director of my life.
Yes. No, I mean, listen, being a creative director of our lives is a full-time job, okay?
Full-time.
And we know that for sure. So you figure that, as you just mentioned, you are very much into vintage. You have vintage a la wonderful.
Yes.
And you have that shop in 2 locations.
Yes, I do.
And it is a gorgeous place for you guys to visit. There is one located at Hunt and Gather. And then the other one, tell us about the one in the beach that you recently went into.
Yeah, so that's at Painted Tree. It's located at Virginia Beach on Laskin Road. And this one is like 3 times the size of Hunt and Gather.
Yes.
You've never been, right?
No, okay. I haven't made it out there because I'm trying to catch you out there. Yes. I don't want to just walk in the booth.
Because we could probably like grab a coffee and do it together because I haven't walked the whole store yet.
Really?
It's huge. I mean, it's 3, maybe 4 times Hunt and Gather.
Really? So Hunt and Gather is large.
It's large. And you get lost, and some people don't even view that whole store. So literally, I tell my customers when I see them in Hunt and Gather because it's so close. It's right across the street from my studio. Mm-hmm. So I do, I'm there frequently.
Yes.
But I always tell the customers, you should go grab a coffee and come back.
Right.
And, so you can spend time. But Painted Tree is like much larger. I'm in booth G15 if you are local and are going to go and shop it. G15 stands for Jossie. 5 times 3.
Now, look, listen, that is so dope because I know that's what I'm saying is that so much about our friendship has its synchronicities, right? We both honor the numbers 3 and 7, right? We love vintage, okay? Mm-hmm. And so it's been just a natural progression over time. And I believe that you and I began to really get closer when you got pregnant with my sweet baby Rose, right? And the interesting thing, and I'm going to ask you about this. The interesting thing is that when you first got pregnant with Rose, and I hope you don't mind me sharing this, you called me and you were like, "Listen, I am having a girl." and you guys, if you've been watching the show, and if you don't know, I am a mother of 3 girls, okay? And each of them, their middle names are Love. So they are absolutely my love squad. They are my purpose for everything and every choice and everything that I do. And my friends reflect that. And my friends know that. And they always surprise me by telling me they think I'm a good mom. So you came to me and you were like, "Hey, I'm having a girl. I don't know how to do this because Jassy." So you raised a son and a beautiful spirit and always been a boy mom. And then now, 18 years later, people joke me for having kids 10 and 16 years apart. You got me beat. Okay. And you came to me and you said, "I'm having a girl. We got to talk about this." Right. And so what is amazing to me though, is your evolution, which is not a doubt. I mean, it's like, I never doubted it. Okay. Right. The type of mom you are. Okay, so first, in honor of Jassy, we have got to just touch on the fact that Jassy was a victim of gun violence, a heartbreaking experience as a friend. So I know for you firsthand that it is a life-changing moment. How are you now? Because your friends know that you even being here today after the time that's passed is such an evolution. We were just talking before we got on camera about how you came on my show when I was originally trying to start it about 4 years ago. Yeah. And the conversation was not the same, or as relaxed, Right. So this is an evolution of you. So share with us just a little bit about your evolution to this point, and even the change in the name of your business from Lux Labels to Styleandgrief.
Okay, perfect. So, because I recently did a podcast with our friend Tisha.
Yes, this is for my ladies, okay? If you're not listening to it, you need to tap in. It's on Apple Podcasts and it's on YouTube. So you guys can watch this episode, like and subscribe, okay? And then jump on over there to Tisha the Diva. She is a fine, wonderful, wonderful lady. And the podcast is really dope and super funny and informative, okay? This is for my ladies. So go ahead. We just got to give her a shout out. Yes, for sure.
So after I did that, because it was my first podcast, my time out talking about Jassy, I didn't know what we were going to say. I knew she was going to speak on him and we were going to talk about him and honor him. But what I did not expound on is the fact that Labels and Love and Styleandgrief are like the exact same name, except it is an evolution. Because Labels and Love, that derived from Sex in the City. The girls, they talked about how you come to New York City and you want to find labels. Of course, we're going to shop, we're going to spend that bread, we're going to get fly. And love, your love. And love just means so many things.
Yes.
But Labels and Love and Styleandgrief, I've spoke on how style is obviously style. We were cheetah girls and did not plan this.
Not at all. Not at all. Okay? Not at all. Oh, cheetah girl for life. Okay?
And then grief, I expressed on that podcast how grief to me is just how I express my love for my son. Absolutely. And everything else that I've grieved in life. But it goes right back to love, which is God, which is the foundation of all of my wonderful relationships.
Yes.
Love. So it's really just the evolution of that. Labels and Love and Styleandgrief.
Absolutely. And I always, one of my favorite hashtags and one of my favorite things to put out, even before starting this company, is that love is all, right? It is the reason for everything. It's the reason for being. And if you're not seeking love and feeling love and being love, what exactly are you doing? So I definitely know that when you place love as the foundation of all that you're doing, you are not only honoring yourself, you're honoring the creator.
Yes.
You know, you're honoring the creator and all those gifts and all that you're grateful for. As I always say, gratefulness is the magic sauce, right? And I got the sauce, okay? So that is the thing. Yes. You better say it. So that's what I'm saying. Gratefulness is the magic sauce.
Yes.
So I definitely appreciate you kind of like sharing that. So now as you've evolved to Styleandgrief, because I mean, your style is immaculate. People can follow you over on your page at Styleandgrief on IG and just see the amazing. First of all, I'm so happy you're finally putting out those reels. Okay, she is now putting out constant reels, and I just love to see it. So many, not just get ready with me's, because it's greater than that. It really shows a combination of not just modern style, but vintage style and home decor.
Yes,
right. And your eye for home decor is something that is second to none. Right. I love how you mix in both modern and vintage design, and then also your art that you create as part of your home, your studio, all of those things. So I'm really honored, you know, just to have you here today. So now, yes, girl,
honored
thank
to be
you.
here.
Yes, girl, we in here. So one of the things that I definitely want to talk about is the fact that, you know, becoming a girl mom, okay, what has that been like after being a mother to a son? You know, we all know boys are rougher and tougher, and, you know, he became a man or was becoming fully a man. So what does it feel like to you to be a girl mom now?
It's wonderful. It is now, most recently, my latest revelation of being a girl mom is the fact that she is a smaller version of me. And the thing that I wasn't, which is very vocal. My daughter, because I've always said to my friends that verbal communication is my second language, not my first, because I'm more of an observer. That's how I've always been. Like, just watch and just process later. But having a daughter that is very vocal, I gotta talk. I mean, and more than ever. So it's really everything that I was and that I wasn't. And I tell my family members so much now. I think y'all been dealing with me, because everybody, I'm like, well, she did this and she said this, and everybody else is like, what are you surprised about? That's you.
Oh my God.
And I don't know that it's me, because I was just being me. I wasn't pretending to be anything else. So I didn't know that that's what everybody else was experiencing. But she is talking. On top of that.
Very much.
Very much.
And very opinionated. Very opinionated. And so one of the cutest things that you guys do is you and she dress alike. Okay? Very, and here's the thing, you guys, you've got to go over to her page, because when I'm saying dress alike, I'm not talking about the corny dress alike. I'm not talking about she has on this cheetah shirt and then she has on the same cheetah shirt. No, I'm talking about truly styled, okay? Styled to perfection. And what is even more amazing is that a lot of times Rose is the one that in fact sets the tone for what you guys wear.
Yeah. So Rose is waking up and
tell
do
us.
the normal. Okay, Rose, have you prayed? Thank you, God, for waking me up.
Yes.
And then, okay, are you ready to brush your teeth? And when we do that. But her next question is, what are we wearing today?
I mean,
if we could be appropriately dressed in the morning for camera or TV, I mean, y'all would be amazed, because it's not coached. It is really, okay, the order of the day after I brush my teeth and pray is, what are we wearing today? And it's just so like,
it warms your heart, huh?
Yes, because that's how I felt as a child.
Yes. No, that is so
and as an adult, and you know, but she is saying it. What are we wearing today? And a lot of times she does pick, like, I'll let her pick her clothes. I have a 20-year-old closet, so whatever she picks from her closet, I can match.
Yes, absolutely.
Or coordinate in some way. So yeah, that's her thing.
No, that's so amazing. I know that the thing is that with me having 3 daughters, I got lucky enough or blessed enough to have one that actually kind of reflects style. And that is my middle daughter, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Ayla.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of years ago for her 11th birthday, we had her come into your studio and she did a photo shoot. And she was able to actually put on gowns and stuff for the first time.
That was fun.
It was super fun.
Yeah.
And she was able to put on gowns for the first time and really begin to get into her style evolution. However, she's a middle schooler. Mm-hmm. So although we went through the same thing with, we never really dressed alike because Ayla always wanted to wear gowns from the moment that she could stand. Mm-hmm. So literally pre-K, kindergarten, first grade, she wanted to wear dresses and gowns. And you know this, she was always the girl where I would have to make sure she had extra clothes in her book bag because if she spilled anything, her day would be ruined. Yeah. And so now with her being in middle school, she has assimilated to the middle school style, the crop tops, the baggy jeans, the sweatshirts. So I look forward to her evolution back into actual style because when I fuss at her and say, no, you're not coming with me with that, then she goes in there and pulls out something fantastic. So, and she always acts like she doesn't have anything. Yeah. Until I tell her, you're not coming unless I will put on some clothes and then she'll say, oh, that's what we doing. And then she go back in her room to the drawing board and she'll come back out with something more reflective of how I may want her to look that day, especially when we're going somewhere. I do try to keep us coordinated. Yes. So I think, for you to be able to do that each day and her to be involved in it is such a gift because Elijah, my oldest daughter, never. Oh my God. I always thought, I never planned kids at all, any of them. That's why their names are Love, because that is why they are here, okay? And you figure with Elijah, it was exactly, and it is crazy because you guys share the same sign, and she is my rice to my peas, and so I always anticipated like me and her would be just dolled up and stuff, and Elijah was like, no ma'am, I don't even care, like as long as she had the sneakers, as long as she had the right stuff for what was in for the time, it did not matter her at all. And it actually got to a point where when she was in high school, I hated how she dressed, and then I go up to the school and she's like best dressed, and I'm like, what? Like, that's it was funny. So shocking to me. Yeah. So I guess everything, style just evolves everything. Yeah. So beyond Rose being so talkative, it is forcing your communication, right? To actually grow. And I know as a mom of girls myself, I'm always thinking about the future for them. Yeah. So in my communication with the girls each day, I always make sure that I give each of them time to ask them how are they feeling, how was their day, and is there anything they want to share with me? What type of similar habits do you have with Rose, having been someone that's more observant versus communicative, to now be speaking with her to move her thoughts forward and get to her feelings?
She's so expressive that she's not staying quiet about anything.
Okay.
So it's a matter of anything she wants. Like, she literally talks from the time she wakes up until it's Alexa, play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Really?
Yes. It is
I see Rose all the time.
Are you missing the conversation?
I am, because...
Oh my goodness. So the whole time in the car, she's talking. Her brother, all the things. Yes. What would Jassy do? What did he do? Just all the things. And sometimes I'll see her pondering. This happened yesterday. Where she's just quiet. So her being quiet for me, maybe it just isn't a alone thing. She wants to talk to me a lot.
Right.
But yesterday I saw her pondering, and I said, what are you thinking about? Because she looked like she was a little far. She said, my brother.
Oh,
I said, okay, what are you thinking about? And we, talk. So that's a lot. Like, she does have these angels, people that have passed, and it's grief, but it's also love, because these are people that she had connections with.
Absolutely.
And what better angel to have than my son and her brother?
You know what? And you said that just gave me a chill, because it reminded me that you recently did a photo shoot, which you are apt to do. Okay. My friend will call you 48 hours before and say, wear cerulean blue and black accents, okay? And you come over here and take these pictures, okay? Yes, you gonna take these pictures, and we are always there, honey, because my closet, that's why we soul sisters. Mm-hmm. So you figure that what really struck me and touched my heart so greatly was recently you did a Galentine photo shoot. Well, Rose had. Let's be clear. Oh, yeah. Rose had a tea party Galentine photo shoot. And my youngest daughter, Nature, and Rose. Nature told me the other day she has 20 best friends. Okay. She said her top 3. Okay. Top 3. Okay. One of them, the first name was Rose, okay? The second was Lucky, okay? And then the other one was Ivy. So if you moms out there, Lucky's mom and Ivy's mom, if you're watching, your daughters are Nature's top 3 best friends, okay? Because she told me, I said, Nature, you can't have 20 best friends. And she said, well, why can't I? They're my friends. I have them in groups. She told me she had them in groups, okay? So anyway, we were there at the photo shoot. And you guys were all, you and your family were all taking photos. And she said, I miss my brother. She said, I miss my brother. And it was just, it was amazing to me because, we have similar beliefs. And in this formative time, because Rose is now 4, from 0 to 7, I believe is when kids and when we all are closest to God because we're just coming from Him. And for her to have had the joy and pleasure to have known her brother for a long period because she knew him in your stomach and she knew him upon birth. And then, God bless his soul, his passing. For her to carry him forward in that way, I am not going to cry to carry him forward. I know, but it makes me emotional because your strength in that circumstance and in this circumstance is so admirable. And as your friend, it makes me emotional to see you joyous, right? It's like your happiness doesn't make me, if a tear was to come, it's the joy of seeing you come out, right? And to be slowly and surely getting back to this new version of yourself, okay? And to see her with your family just automatically just bring him up. And she always does. I mean, when we're together, she's going to mention Jasmine. She is. I just think it's such a beautiful thing. And it's not even something you have to say. It's truly in her. She thinks of him all the time. Like as if he is walking right with her and advising her. And you told me yourself, you always wanted a boy and a girl. So for her to have his spirit, his angel right with her, right? Always walking her through. It's just amazing. And it's proof of all that we started talking about, that love is all, right? And energy is never lost. It's never lost. So I just think that's such a beautiful thing. As we are raising these young ladies, okay? I know that, too, you are kind of homeschooling, right? I mean, is that what we're calling it?
It is a challenge. Rose, so last week, I'm getting a table set up. I'm getting her arts and crafts set up. Rose has a sewing machine that she doesn't know about.
Okay.
So we're going to do an unboxing for that soon once she masters these words that we're working on.
Okay.
Because she would rather listen to Bible stories.
Okay.
Than, sit with me and watch, let's do your letters and then go over that. She does not want, I think she wants me to be her mom, but she doesn't go to school. She doesn't want to break that. And see, for me, it is so complex because time is just one of the things that I've always valued. Like, I used to have clocks all over my house, and I was just like, time is money. Time is valuable. Like, I need to know what time it is because I got to stay focused.
Right.
And now time is a part of something I have to cherish because I had limited time with my son and I didn't know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now that my daughter, while I know these systems are in place because, it's the order of things. She has to be learning. She has to learn, to read and do all these things. But I also have to just value that time. And respect it. So it's a balance that I'm working on. But we are working on that. And she has a tutor for reading. So I do get that. And she does wonderful with her.
Right.
But I think she just wants to have this special time with me.
Right.
And not necessarily be like the A's, the B's, the C's.
No, you know what? It's interesting, and I appreciate you sharing that because with my youngest daughter, with Nature, that she has begun to show or has been showing for quite some time behavioral issues as it relates to, environments that she's not having fun, right? And one of the biggest challenges that I face right now is knowing that she needs to be in an independent environment. It's actually interesting because the office where we're filming, we have a room for kids. And we're one of the only firms in Hampton Roads, if not the only firm in Hampton Roads that offers that, right? Yes, you've been saying it. So, and that is because I knew when I was creating this office that Black people and most ethnicities keep their children with them. So when you come in to do business, why do your kids have to be separate? One of the reasons that I chose this career was to have freedom, was to have time freedom. One of the reasons that I run my business on systems is to have the freedom to do what I want, right? And manage my time in the way that I want. And with her, the interesting thing is that I am seeing more and more how very important it is going to be to have her in an independent environment. Yet, how do I cross the divide? Me too, because at this point, I am really truly considering homeschooling. However, I've got to homeschool with a instructor. Like Nature has a tutor too. Nature has a tutor too, and she's very, very smart and won't let herself be tested. So even to put her in a private school environment, she won't allow herself to be tested. So she's not showing how intelligent she is. So it's one of my biggest challenges, and she's my only daughter that her behavior outweighs all the good from perception. And like we talk about all the time, perception is reality. So it's like she's the sweetest. She's my most considerate child. She always checks on me, her sisters, her friends. She has so many notes at home that she's written to her friends. But last week she got in the car and she said, I wrote Adeline a love note, but nobody will give it to her. So I've got to take it back to school tomorrow to give it to her. I mean, she writes her friends love notes. She is my most loving child. And yet, if it does not appeal to her as fun, she is done. I mean, she walks in class and will say, not today, to the teacher. She sits in class, the teacher is telling them, this is our agenda. And Nature sits right there and say, not me and not today. Okay, so something. No, I mean this is real. This is real. I mean we listen. I know we having this. This is the girl mom conversation. So so it is the biggest challenge to me because I love learning. My encyclopedia. So how do we overcome when we have these challenges? Like, and the only reason I even brought this up, for context, is the fact that you said, because I'm surprised to hear you say that, because when I see you and Rose working together, she's easy breezy, and just like you said with all the talking. Now, don't get me wrong, when I'm around her, she does talk, but she's talking to Nature. So normally it's like, I see them chattering, but Nature does the same thing. So it's kind of like, oh, they're just girls chattering. I did not realize that we really are dealing with the same thing, because Nature gets in the car and says, I know I talk a lot, and blah, 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 and she just goes. From the moment she wakes up until she goes to sleep, she has questions. She says, I just love to ask questions. So how do we, as moms, cross that divide as also business owners?
I'm straight with Rose. I do tell her, because I have to process. I have to think, my brain, a part of my being quiet previously, and I was obviously always talking to my son and teaching him.
Yes.
But it's just a matter of, it's just not constantly words or questions or things being, said.
Right.
So, I just tell Rose, I said, Mommy has to think right now. Can you give me a moment to think? Because I really just need to process some things. Sometimes, because it's a beautiful distraction.
Yes.
And you just get thrown off. Now, I am good with writing down things and just, so I can get back to it. But if it's something that's crossing path right now and I need to focus, I'll just say, Rose, give me a second. I need to think. I need to be able to think, like quiet time. And she understands what quiet time means. And a lot of times in the car, like I ride in my car with no music. And I've done this for years because that is my time. And I've done so many road trips. That's something me and my son did. Now he slept the whole time. But I had time to process what I was thinking, what I wanted to do, what had just happened, you know, all those things.
Right.
So yeah, I do take that time now. It's usually when she's rested.
Okay. So no,
we gotta talk. It's just communicating, Rose. I need a moment.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand. I know with nature, because both my other girls have always been, and I think too, it's also my personality because I'm hands on, and what I like to do is set you up for success and then see you run it. So like I tell people all the time, I do not consider myself a manager. I consider myself a coach. I like to give you the play. And with the kids, I allow them to have their input, right? So they have their input because it's so important to me to know that their thoughts, their words are valued.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I never want to minimize them. I can even think back to having Elijah and her personality when she was just my one child. And I would always tell people that I didn't want to squish who she might be.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Right? I wanted her to have however her personality showed up, I wanted that for her. Just like all the girls. I let them be fully in themselves, right? I know that my parenting style is not traditional in that way because I know what it feels like to be squished. I know we both come from a generation where we had to shut up when our parents said shut up.
Because they said so.
Exactly, right. And then that was the answer. I don't even mind giving my kids an explanation. Because I feel like it shows that they are valued.
And that they're using their brain.
Yes.
So I think I was the first one to have a child in the generation after me. So all the parents, everybody in my family would be like, because Jossie would be like, why? Now he was quiet, but he was just chill. It wasn't like he didn't speak and talk and express himself because he did. Very, very outspoken.
Right.
So he was why, and I was the mom saying, okay, this is why, because I hated not knowing why, because it's almost like if I don't know what the consequences are, I'm going to try.
Oh,
yeah, that's where rebellion comes in because there's no explanation behind that. So yeah, I definitely.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I always explained why, and we always would see the kids saying why, mom, out in public. But I became one of those black moms in my family that allowed why, because it's not because I said so, because you said so. What does that mean?
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. What is the context behind you saying so? Why
is it dangerous? I am, why are you telling this not for me right now? Or, all those things. Why is very important.
Right. And it's to a point too, because I still do say because I said so.
So I don't use because I said so, but I always tell Rose, like, I'm here to protect you. Because now I'm like, that's important for her to know, because Rose understands on her level and probably above that protection is something that's very important for me to her.
Okay, well that is something, and that is something to consider. I know that with nature, I will explain. Once the explanation is given, after that it's because I said so. Now, that's the thing, is that she is so intelligent that she will play the understand and then I don't understand to continue to get you to engage in that communication. I am not a great repeater. If I said it, I meant it, and that's what it is. So we do. So she does still, and she's the one. She's the one that receives these. Like, she has made me step my parenting game up to a level in which I never thought it would need to be. So even though it's challenging, I see myself evolving as her mother in the way I handle the world, because she is so much of a challenge. And it makes me have to align myself with how I feel about me, my parenting, and our household, because you also know I'm very private. And so to have a child that will act out publicly and will question and or act out in public settings, I had to get clear on what matters to me, what's more important to me, right? So that is it is an amazing thing to have. require limit. So now, considering that we have just been talking, you know, it is Women's History Month. And so that's one of the reasons that I kind of wanted to, like, as we've talked about earlier, get you on the show, the first episode of Women's History Month, because we are truly making history.
Yes.
Now, after having talked about our daughters, how amazing they are, how sweet, and for me, a little challenging. I think for you, a little challenging too at certain times, although it is a wonderful experience.
Definitely.
I want to talk about fashion. Yes. Woo, let's get into it. So, number one, okay, you design gowns, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it is very close because school is backing up, isn't it? It's starting to end much sooner.
Uh-huh.
It's very close, or you're in the midst of prom season. So to even have you here today, okay, knowing that you probably have so many orders,
Mm-hmm.
are you in the 11th year of designing prom gowns? Or is it the 10th?
You might be 11.
Oh my God.
He's counting.
I mean, no, it's important because the reason I brought that up is because she does not have to advertise. Okay, no, that's the part.
I should be advertising. I have not advertised because where I am in my life, I want everything to come to me that wants to be with me. I don't want it to be forced. I want it to I want all of my clients to trust me. So basically the referral system is working for me in that because I only want people that have been, like I said, referred or choose her because I need to be flexible now.
Right.
I need to be flexible because of everything that's going on in my life. And that's what I want. So I don't promote as much. Like I'm not in that hustle grind. Not that I should not be, but this is what I'm feeling right now.
Oh, I'm not even leaning into that because I disagree so much. I'm just going to just say publicly because our business is all referral.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm talking about this company, right? And just like you said, it's about who chooses you, right? Mm-hmm. However, the reality is the cream rises to the top.
That's true.
And there are designers all around us,
yes,
right? Amazing ones. Great ones. Mm-hmm. We're in Hampton Roads, Virginia. Mm-hmm. Your studio, you're in Norfolk. You're centered there, but I know you travel, and I know people travel far to come to you. So when we're talking about whether there's a need, see, that's the thing. Of course, you can advertise, just like we could spend more money in advertising, right? At the same time, the quality of referrals coming from past clients, and most importantly, the quality of the gowns. Mm-hmm. I recall a couple of years ago, you made my mom her first ever custom gown for it was a Met. What was the theme? The theme was like Black Panther or something like that. I know
was it a Wakanda?
Thank you. It was the Wakanda themed Met that was held here in Norfolk, and it just so happened to fall on her birthday weekend. Okay. And it was out of African fabric, and that gown, I mean, it gave her so much joy, right? Our parents, a lot of the things that we do daily, our parents have never done, although they set us up to be these women we are, right?
The wildest journey.
I'm telling you, they set us up to be these women. And so to have the ability to send her to you, get this gown, and she was so, every time I see those pictures, she was so happy. So to be now in your 10th or 11th year of designing, I mean, that is outstanding. Not designing, but designing the gowns for public consumption has got to be just a joy to you. What is your favorite part about prom season? Because I know that you're very connected to these high schools in Norfolk. So tell us about that.
Well, let's just say I'm a Commodore.
Okay.
Last year I went to the prom.
Okay, yes.
Tell us. I wore a vintage gown. I didn't touch it, I didn't even alter it. It was made for me. It was sitting in the store. I had it in my closet for years. And the day of prom, because I am a feelings person, I have to dress how I feel. So it's hard for me to pack for a trip. It is hard for me to say, girl, what color we wearing? Even though I'll say, hey, show up on Saturday with red on.
Right.
To anybody that I know that's into it.
Yes.
But I have to dress how I feel. So that dress said, yes, this is how we feeling. But anyway, my favorite part is when they send me these bomb, carefully curated pictures of my gown style. Because now I'm like, yeah, I make dresses, but I'm a stylist. So what you wearing? How your hair gonna be? What are your shoes? I want your look to be flawless because you representing me.
Yes.
Your mama and them, yes.
Yes.
But you represent me because you trusted me to make your gown.
Yes.
For whatever event. So the pictures are the best.
Yes.
And at this point, I don't post pictures with the like dirty clothes on the floor in the back.
Right.
I'm not doing that because I don't have to. They just gonna have to scroll a little further back.
Right.
So I love when they send me these beautiful pictures where they are styled or where they have on their heels with their dresses.
Yes.
That's my favorite part because that's the end result and that's why they chose me.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. No, it is a full experience.
It is.
It is a curated experience for each young lady that comes across your doors.
And it's a memory that they're going to carry with them forever. I take it very seriously.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's my favorite part.
Well, I definitely am trying to push you forward and we really want to see a full, we would like a gallery.
We would love a gallery.
We would want a gallery of these prom gowns, of the gowns you've made. And speaking of that gown from last year, was that the sky blue gown? Was it sky? Oh my God, I remember that.
I know.
Oh my God, that was a good gown.
I was talking about it over the weekend. I'm like, I'm gonna go to Maury's prom and be a chaperone because I wasn't just there. I was a chaperone.
Yes. Oh, that's
I
so
was
dope.
making sure things were in order.
Oh yeah.
And I had a few girls that I made dresses for, so that was beautiful. And other girls that I just know because I'm the seamstress for the band also there at Maury.
Okay, so, see, thank you. She's the seamstress for the band at Maury. Did not know that.
Yeah, so yeah,
that is so good. That's super.
And I'm a Commodore.
Yes,
like I'm not a Norfolk girl. I'm a Maury girl.
Okay,
I don't claim the city, but I'm a Maury girl.
Oh, that's so dope. That's so dope. That is so good. No, that is really good. And then, okay, so beyond gowns and stuff, please tell the people what things you may be still open to styling. Are you taking new stylist clients? Because you are like, I think that when you and I work together, you are my stylist, and at the same time, I think we feed off each other. I'll come to you with some kind of out of the way. Last year for my birthday, I found a leather. I found a leather skirt because I'm a leather girl. I tell you guys this all the time. I love leather. I almost wore patent leather today. Okay. I love leather, and I found a size, I think 20, sky blue vintage leather skirt, and she turned it into a dress, a birthday dress for me. Okay, that thing was fantastic. And I just have to figure out where I'm going to wear it again. Yeah. Because that's the thing. We don't get our clothes to just wear them one time. Yeah. I have so many amazing pieces from you. I thought about wearing the jeans today, but I really wanted to shout out to my girl P.E. Blair with Pink Elephant. This is one of her tops. And the quality, and all of my friends, so many of my friends are designers. I mean, I could shout out just so many of my friends that are designers. Sonia Z, Natalie, so many Black women designers. It's Women's History Month, so we gotta salute our sisters, okay, that are doing their thing in design and in fashion. My homegirl, Tanya, with her wearable art gallery down in Birmingham. I just love fashion, love style, love design. And what's so funny is that I even recall you being the first person to make Elijah wear heels. So I just thought about that as like I'm talking about my designer girlfriends, and it made me think about the fashion shows.
When I was a boy mom. So Elijah and I was like, in full on, Lord forgive me, Elijah.
No, she needed that.
But in full on, this is a fashion show. Fast-paced stress, like everything needs to look a certain way. Oh my God. We gotta get that posture together and put on these heels, girl.
Man. Let me tell you, I used to have an online thrift store, and Tamika was honor was one of the designers that were actually one of the only designers, because a lot of the people were bringing clothes from their stores. We used to do up at Military Circle before. Oh, military.
When?
Oh, Military Circle. Dang. For Emotion Fest, right? With the Sankofa Network. And I invited you, and you gladly accepted and came. And my daughter, Elijah, this is she's like in 10th grade, I think. And you came with the gowns. The gowns were bad, okay? And Elijah puts on her gown, and Tamika says to her, "You've got to wear heels." And Elijah says, I don't know how to walk in heels. And she says, "If you can't walk in heels, you can't wear this dress," okay? And that was that on that. So I'm the host of the show. And here comes her scene. And here comes Elijah in 4-inch pumps, okay? And she worked it. Her first time ever wearing heels. That's just so funny as a memory to me. Such a blessing for her, because now she's in her 20s, so she's in her heels era, okay?
And let me tell you, that is a part of my spiel in doing my consultation for proms. Last year I was nicer. And it's not about being rough about it. Absolutely. It's just that if I'm making you a dress and your feet are covered, do what you want to do. Right. But if you want to split or something sheer, you have got to practice.
Yes.
And I've offered them, you can come up here and we can play the hallway and practice. Absolutely. Because it's so important. I don't get why they don't wear heels at all now.
You know what? I was looking last night or the other day at a podcast. It was last night. Mm-hmm. I was looking at a podcast, and the featured guest girl was Tim Gunn. You remember him from Project Runway?
No, but I'm not good with names.
He was the teacher that would come in and talk with them while they were doing their designs. And he was very stylish, older white man. And come to find out, he was actually a Parsons educator. Okay. And so that's where they found him. So I'm watching this. I'm a big documentary girl. I forgot the name of the podcast, but it was a great podcast, whatever it was. Yeah. Anyway, and the whole point of that is that he was basically saying that design has changed so much. Mm-hmm. And every generation has its history, okay? Mm-hmm. The host said she talked to someone she knew very well known in fashion. Mm-hmm. And they talked about the eras of the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and the things that they're remembered for. Mm-hmm. And do you know what they said? Our generation, not us, okay? Because we're, a little bit.
What am I? Am I a millennial?
I think you may be a millennial.
I think I'm a millennial.
I think you may be a millennial. I'm certainly Gen X. So I was born in the late 70s. Okay. So I am Gen X. And then if you're after 83, then you're a millennial.
So I'm a millennial.
Okay, so you're a millennial. And guess what they said millennials will be known for? Athleisure.
Really? Not me.
Do you understand what I'm saying? But that is why. So when we're talking about why do the young people, our children, don't wear heels, it's because the millennial and Gen Z generations, their fashion contribution, like when we look back through history and they say, the roaring 20s, the 70s with the hippies, the 80s with the box and the really stern women, and then the 90s with that revival on femininity, right? The 2000s with the grunge and hip hop starting to come in. Yeah. Millennials is athleisure. So when you think about, because if you think about it, even when in high school, I started wearing heels, and I didn't stop ever. I mean, really, I still wear heels, right? And that was like 9th grade. So I don't wear high heels. No, I don't do that. But I do wear heels. As opposed to these kids, my daughters, they don't even consider it. Like Elijah, she now wears heels. But I can recall her senior year, her in the house, walking around in heels to try to get accustomed to it, because she never worn one before other than that fashion show, right? So it's just amazing. What do you think about that?
I guess. But I was the girl. My dad tells this story. He reminds me of it anyway. He talks about how when I came, I wore heels almost every day to morning. I mean, and that's 4 flights of stairs.
Me too.
I mean, so that means sometimes I was on the 4th floor having science, and then I had algebra on the 1st floor. So, I mean, up and down the stairs. However, my dad would say, I have never seen somebody wear heels all day, because I would do my 8 hours or whatever at school, and I would come home and put on these wooden clogs that were 4 inches too, and I would prance around that house in those, making all that noise, and that's just how that's how I was, that's who I was.
I mean, listen, my dad, I'll tell you, listen, that's so funny because I'll tell you a funny story. So when we first moved, you know, I'm from Baltimore, and I graduated. I spent my last year and a half, almost 2 years in high school in Cincinnati.
Okay.
And I was used to being in Baltimore. I didn't have a car yet. And in Baltimore, you know, you caught the city bus to school, or you caught what was called a hack, which was like a gypsy cab. Okay. And that's what I would catch to school because, you know, we those girls. So we catch a little ride. So my dad, even though he wasn't providing the money, because I had a job, I actually was. In my senior year of high school, I was the assistant manager at Merry-Go-Round. You remember Merry-Go-Round? Yes, honey. Wow. Y'all better check the stats, okay?
With the kids, they clocking.
Yes. Look, they just want to go like this, clocking. They just go like this, clocking. Okay. So I was assistant manager at Merry-Go-Round. So my dad got pissed at me because I was catching cabs to school. And he told me, you're going to get fat. Wow. He said, you're going to start walking. Okay. I would literally, like, it wasn't close. It was not close. It had to be like maybe a mile. And I would be just tip-tap-tipping to school, okay? Because my dad told me, he said, you want to just keep eating, sitting around, you don't do no type of activity because they ain't trying to get me in the band. I said, no. They trying to get me in sports. I said, no, I'm not doing nothing like that. He said, what you're not going to be is fat. That's my dad. See, that's how my dad was. He was urged like me. He was like, you're not going to be fat. You're going to be mad if you get fat. Walk. And I would tip-tap all the way to school. It was about a mile. I mean, and he made me do it for about, matter of fact, he passed my senior year. So that whole first from September when school started all the way till just before he passed, I was literally like walking to school because he was like, you are not going to get fat and you're just sitting around and you think you keep wasting money.
Left that with you.
And he did. you better say thank you very much. So, but yeah, no, for real. So I get it because I wore heels, I mean, so much. And to me, it's always going to be the cleanest, chicest look. I mean, it's just like as a woman, even now, all my friends know that I am not wearing anything close to a 4-inch heel. I am going to find some sort of cushion. I am going to be on a foot limit. Everybody knows that. However, I will suffer to keep a look together. Yes, to keep a look together for sure. So now, I appreciate you coming on the show. This has been a great Good Girlfriend Talk. Just so many of the things. And as you guys know, if you're watching the show for the first time or you're returning, you know all her contact information will be below, both locations of her vintage store. I'm also going to put a few shots in of your stores in both locations so that people can have an idea of all of the accolades and things that I've been saying, because this is not a test, you guys. Like when we're talking about one of the most stylish women I know, and this is the biggest thing. The biggest thing is it's not precipitated by designer. It's like I used to tell people all the time, style is inherent. It's something that you either have or you don't. It's not about whose name it is. It's not about who made it. It's about the quality and how you put it together. And so this is hands down one of the most stylish women I know. Not only that, she will kill you with the label on the low. You'll just pop up and be like, and she'll be like, I forgot I had this. It'd be a jean, it'd be a vintage, daggone Jimmy Choo that you saw only on Sex and the City. So, this lady is just the Louboutins, anything. It's not about that. It's how you mix it in, right? And you're so humble, right? And that's one of the things, to be so beautiful, to be so kind. It is just an amazing friendship, right? It is. It's just that you're one of the women that, and this is what, and this, to kind of wrap it up and get to the point, is that all my life, people have these perceptions of what it's like, to have pretty privilege, And what I've learned is that once a person gets to know you, like I know with me, this happens a lot. Once a person gets to know you and know that your heart is genuine and that you really are truly a kind and joyous person, it's totally different than what it may give off, right? I know sometimes that, it can be intimidating to be around women, and as especially when you know that they are what is traditionally and even exceptionally attractive. Yeah. Yet to be able to have so many beautiful friends, you as one of those, and to know how kind you really are, how healthy you are, how much you know and share to help others and other women, right? Those are the true definitions of girls, right? I know now there's just like remember how people used to say real talk? And then they started saying, don't say that because only fake people say that. And now it's now there's a connotation that when you're saying you're girl's girl, it's like, only mean girls say that. No, not here, not today, and not on winning mindsets, because the foundation, like we started from the beginning, is love, right? In all things. And evolution too, because we all have our times. We definitely have had our times of, I know I have, had my times of purposely, wanting to compete. And as you become further along in success and in life and in wisdom and kindness, you realize that it's nothing to compete about because love is the center of all things.
Okay, so let me say this. So I did this fabulous thing on Saturday.
Okay.
I woke up and I had the idea in my head. Tans and I was going to the gala.
Yes.
I made 2 dresses on Saturday.
Did you make those gowns?
On Saturday.
The gowns y'all wore to the gala on Saturday that you just put up.
Yes, but I have this wonderful idea. I have to share. I'll share it. I have this idea because we were just talking about competing. I made us almost twin gowns. They were almost identical. First, very black, velvet, and long. And based on our body types, I did give us splits. They were to meet together, and then I did applique, and I did the design basically. Taking one applique and making it for 2 dresses.
Yes.
And I accentuated our bodies the way they are.
Right.
But the idea is that we don't compete. We complement.
Exactly.
And that is solely why I did it.
Oh my God.
Because I don't do that.
Yeah,
I don't live like that. And I want you to look great. And
Yes.
I want you to be comfortable. So if my idea of you looking great, and I say, well, try this, and you don't like it, but wear what you want to wear.
Right.
So whatever you feel comfortable in, and that's going to have you your most, your highest
self.
Yes.
Right. Your joyous, your most highest, your most confident self.
Yes.
And that's the thing. And the reason I even brought that up is because I can admit that when I was in high school, I did start the newspaper, and we had the fashion police, and I was the fashion police. So it would be inauthentic of me to say that there's never been a mean bone in my body. That's what I mean by the evolution, because I feel like they say, you can't compete where you don't compare. So it's never been about that, but you figure that throughout years of growing and evolving, right? And self-esteem, right? The more confident you are in yourself, you realize that the only competition is yourself, right? But I know that for you to live your life so intentionally and trying to just make other women beautiful and ensuring and then giving the best advice and offering the best options, even if that option doesn't end up being you, is a testament to the type of woman you are and the reason that is a winning mindset, right?
Yes.
So if you have one more thing to say to our viewers today about your winning mindset, and something that you'd like to impart to all the women out there watching, and I know there's probably some fellas too. Hey fellas, like and subscribe. And I know there's probably some fellas out there watching too. Please tell us now.
I'm going to just say keep your girls or your circle, whoever around you, the ones that want to see you blossom. I owe you something. I did this on the last podcast.
Oh my God.
Because I'm sharing my heart with women that I know care about me.
Yes.
So what you did to me. I don't know how far I was in my journey of grief. I feel it was in Jesse, but you shared a book with me.
Yes.
And this book changed my life, y'all. And when I say it changed my life, I have to go back to it almost weekly just because it's so impactful in how I'm coming into my new self and how I know I can utilize this for the rest of my life. And what you told me is that the person that gave it to you told you it has to be the right time.
It has to.
The timing was so perfect
Oh my God.
for me. And I even told you, are you still, living by that book? Because it is a lifestyle book. And I just appreciate you for sharing that with me because I don't know that I would have found it anywhere else at that time where I needed it.
Right. I mean, listen, the reality is that book changed my life. And of the people that I've shared it with who have then shared it with others, it's beautiful to see because the first person I shared it with was my brother.
Okay.
And the other day we were talking and he was like, why worry? It'll probably never happen.
It will probably never,
And oh my God. And he uses the principles in the book all the time, right?
Yes.
And he shared it with his best friend. And I recently went and recorded my book at his studio. And he always says in the most perfect way, right? And so I just, with that book, I will share the link below because if it's meant to find you, then you will click on that link and you will invite yourself to that experience. One of the best things about that book is that, I mean, we're on winning mindsets.
Yeah.
And when I was introduced to that book, I was in my mid-30s and I was in a place where I needed a word. And it changed everything for me. It changed my perception. It healed so much of my traumas. It opened me up to the possibility of miracles. And I mean, it just, even today, I mean, we sit in a result of that book.
Yeah.
This place is a result of the principles in that book. So
my favorite line I have
tell
to
me,
say, God does not need any time. That's who does it.
Oh my God.
That is like, what? God does not need any time.
No, he does not.
Asking it is given. And that's not from that book, but it's the same. It's spoken in a different way. But yes.
That's right.
And you gotta talk to her.
I know. And you know what? For me, one of the things that centers me is, first of all, in the most perfect way. That is always,
with grace.
Yes. So many people, when I'm speaking and I say that, they maybe don't register it. But I know that in order to get the best outcome, you've got to make sure that there's no harm being done, right? That you're sending it all out in love. Yeah. And then for me, what always gets me is I can be going along in my life 4 or 5 months. And then I'll be in my car riding somewhere and I'll say, I have a wonderful business in a wonderful way. I give wonderful service for wonderful pay.
And it's wonderful. Okay, so y'all don't know what wonderful is.
Tell them. Tell them you got to say it. I appreciate that.
Jasi, my sweet boy. His name is from Ghana. It's the first country in Africa that I'm going to visit.
Yes.
And it means wonderful, or the wonderful one. And that book had that, it's an affirmation.
Yes.
But I have a wonderful business in a wonderful way, and I give wonderful service for wonderful pay. And let me tell y'all something real quick. Sometimes I'm a self-taught seamstress. Now I did have some guidance. My mom has been sewing my whole life. But sometimes I'm trying something that I don't even know how to complete, but I have the confidence, the Godfidence.
You better say it.
That I can get it done because I'm very visual and I can visualize these things, and that means I know I can create it.
Right.
And that affirmation, I will say it while I'm doing it. And when I tell you God shows up, He does not need any time. He does not need. He needs you to ask Him.
Yeah. Just ask.
I'm shaking saying this because that has gotten me through some real things.
Me too. Me too. And I'm telling you, and I used to, I know we keep saying I'm an end, but I got to say this. So when I was working on the foreclosure side, and I used to go and knock on people's doors and get them to sell me the house. And I would be going out to these neighborhoods that totally different than traditional sales where, a person wants to list their home, whether it's, $500 or $5 million or $50 million. You know that mindset because you're dressing for that.
Yeah.
You're doing that. But these are $300, $400, $500, $600,000 homes that are in foreclosure. And here I am coming with my jeans on because I always wanted to wear jeans because you know how nasty the house was going to be. And then I would have on a nice button-up shirt. And I would be so scared because I'm meeting these people cold. I don't know these people. And I would just be riding because it's like, okay, I got to get some sales, right? Because the pay was wonderful, okay? Pay was wonderful, okay? So I'll be riding, and I just like, I have a wonderful business in a wonderful way. And I'll be walking up the steps, I have a wonderful, and I promise you, I would knock on that door, and people be like, well, hello, right? Whenever I affirm that on my way to those appointments, and I had almost gotten away from it, right?
Yeah.
The affirmation itself. And lately, I've been re-incorporating that into my daily conversation with myself and with God. And it's just, I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you guys for watching, tuning in, and tapping in. Again, like and subscribe. This is episode 17. Oh, yes. We're on the road to 20, honey. Okay? A flawless living made simple. Winning mindsets. Be safe and have a wonderful week. Stay wonderful. Bye.